what I'm made for. This is the shit that I came for. Walking this bitch in this game on. Walking this bitch in this game on. This is the shit I was made for.
Yo, what's happening YouTube? Quasi Pro here, aka the Not So Professional Gamer, back with another video. And right now, you're looking at some episode Gladiolus gameplay. It's the first expansion DLC for Final Fantasy 15 that expands on the story after the point in the game when Gladio leaves the party. It gives you the opportunity to, for the first time, control Gladio on his solo quest for power and to prove his worth as the soon-to-be King Noctis' right-hand man. But if I had to be completely honest, I can't say that I'm too impressed with this first story. I mean, the gameplay is fun and I guess unique, but the story itself, or I guess I should just call it a mission, takes roughly an hour to an hour and 30 minutes to complete. And quite frankly, it doesn't do much to give more to the original story besides giving us content that honestly should have just been included in the first place. And that brings me to the main point of this video. Gamers, when are we going to start calling video game developers out on their bullshit? Here's what I mean. Just like I said earlier, the first expansion, and I'm saying that with air quotes, the first expansion to the Final Fantasy 15 storyline was basically just a side mission that took an hour or so to complete. And as part of the season pass, they plan to release 2 additional expansions that cover separate stories for both Prompto and Ignis. Now, if these added expansions are roughly an hour of gameplay just like the first expansion, that means you're paying $24.99, which is the price of the season pass, for what seems to be a total of 3 hours of gameplay that looks like more of a glaring omission from the original story as opposed to actual added content. And that's my problem. Too many times, these money-hungry gaming companies lock away content that should have been included in the game behind a fucking paywall. It's almost like when they used to release demos for games, and after you made it to a certain point in the game, it stops and gives you the option to purchase the full version of it. Yeah, that's basically what this is, except this time around, they're charging you full price for a glorified demo. Yeah, that might have been a stretch on the analogy, but you get the fucking point. If gaming companies are going to ask me to pay an additional $15 to $20 for some bullshit excuse of an expansion, then why the hell do I have to pay $60 for the game originally if it's essentially incomplete? Either drop the price of the games or just make the DLC free. But this doesn't just include DLC that's disguised as a story expansion. This problem includes microtransactions, DLC that doesn't include anything but a few perks, and even these games with that bullshit pay-to-win model. All of these are different attempts for game developers to get as much money from us as possible. Now, don't get me wrong, I completely understand that the budget for making AAA titles is substantially higher now than it was maybe 10 or 15 years ago. So some companies have DLC as a way to recoup that money that they would have put out to make a game. Because at the end of the day, this is still a for-profit industry. So if I front $1 million to make a game, then you could bet your ass I want to see a large profit from my investment. I get it. But if you think that that excuses all versions of DLC and microtransactions, then you're just fucking stupid. There is always a right and a wrong way to do it. And developers are focusing on all the wrong ways to do it. Gaming companies have gotten to the point now where they will literally release an incomplete game at full price just so they can charge you for extra content that they purposely removed. I'll give you an example. Look back at Ashura's Wrath. Capcom literally removed the true ending from the story and made the gamers pay for it. And that's not the only example. Look at it from a multiplayer standpoint. How many times have you purchased a game just to get online and see someone already well ahead of you just because they purchased some extra content? Not only did you just nickel and dime them, but you just made the experience less fun. What's the point of having a multiplayer experience if I can just pay to be better than the next person? Games like Call of Duty and For Honor, where the bulk of their gameplay comes from the multiplayer side, have it to where you can pay money to have equipment that gives you a better edge on the competition. If you don't pay, good luck trying to keep up. It's a terrible concept. It does no good to pump money from the consumer while at the same time fracturing the community that you hope to profit from. Which brings me back to my original question. Gamers, when are we going to start calling developers out on their bullshit? They will continue to use these bad business practices so long as we keep allowing them to. And that's the shit I'm talking about. I know it's hard to fight the impulse and pay for that added character skin or for that golden gun that everyone else is going to have anyway. but we're gonna have to start in order to send a message to these hungry ass game developers. There are companies out there that release quality games with free, I repeat, with free DLC and expansions, but continue to get overlooked for the most bullshit reasons. Look at free-to-play games like Smite. Hi-Red Studio released Smite free for the community with the option to buy custom skins for your character if you choose to. It does nothing to make the gameplay experience less enjoyable, and at the same time, it gives the gamer an opportunity to support the developers. Or look at Witcher 3. They released 2 separate expansions that were so lengthy and great story-wise that they could have just stood alone as an entirely separate game. That's how you should handle asking gamers to pay additional money after already buying a game at full retail. Just think, if some of these companies and their business practices was brought to the forefront, it would bring the art of competition back into the gaming industry and almost force other developers to follow suit. Think about it like this. A couple years back, the fast food chain Wendy's released their 4 for $4 value combo and sales went crazy. So what does Burger King do? They release a 5 for $4 so they don't fall behind in the race, which then leads to McDonald's releasing their McPick 2 for $3. Also, they can stay on top of their competitors. This is the competition that needs to be brought back into the gaming industry to give us the best content possible, but at the same time give us the best value possible. So I guess my main point here is, developers, stop trying to fuck over the community that's the bulk of your business, and gamers, please remember that you do still have a job as a consumer. Did you like what I had to say in this video? Then leave me a like. How do you feel about downloadable content and microtransactions? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Let me know in the comment section below. Let's have a discussion about it. And if you want to stay notified with my channel, then you already know the game. Hit that subscribe button. And maybe if we share this video enough times, some of those video game developers will see it. As always, guys, Quasi-Pro here, aka the Not So Professional Gamer. Until next time, YouTube, peace.
Anyone that's in the way is the one you should pray for. Oh Lord, this what I'm made for. This is the shit that I came for. Walking this bitch in this game on. Walking this bitch in this game on. This is the shit I was made for. This is the shit that I came for. Walking this bitch in this game on. Give me what's mine or I'm taking yours. Yeah, like I ain't got one game. I ain't got a motherfucking game to play. Till they giving me what's mine, I'ma raise the place. Till I open up the